the end of about 3 months, or a few months, a couple of months, we had visa problems, and we went to get our visas straight, and we got to the small town where his visa papers were, and everywhere we went, he was welcomed by all the religious people with open arms. If we went to a Theravadan Buddhist monastery, he would be chanting Buddhist chants, and they'd all welcome him, and suddenly I realized he was one of them. So I'd figure, aha, he's a Theravadan Buddhist. We'd meet a Kajjipa Lama from Tibet, and they'd be talking chants of Tibet, and I would say, aha, he's a Kajjipa Lama. We'd meet Shaivites, and he'd be in thick with them, and I couldn't figure out what his trip was. He was everything. And I was pretty confused. I generally thought we were Buddhists. Because it seemed relatively clean and antiseptic, and the Hindu trip seemed very, their pictures were so garish, and so the whole thing was kind of gauche, I thought. So he says, you stay here, I'm going out to see about my papers. So I sit, and I'm like a little child, you see. He tells me what to eat, where to sleep. He speaks Hindi, and I don't very well. I just understand a little of it, and so it's natural that he would sort of run things, but also everything he's running. During that night, I went out under the stars to go to the bathroom, and while I was under the stars, I looked up at the heavens, which seemed particularly close, since there's no electricity in that town. And I thought about my mother, who had died the previous January in Boston at the Peter Van Brigham Hospital from a spleen. Her spleen had taken over, her bone marrow had started producing blood, and her spleen grew very large, and they took it out, and she died. And I wasn't thinking about how she died, I just was thinking about her because I had been with her during the period of her dying, and we had experienced a very high state, quite independent of our relation as parent and child or in bodies, and I had never felt any loss when she died, which quite amazed me. Even though as a psychologist I was saying, no grief reaction, watch it.